Дорогі українці, українки.
Dear Ukrainians, first of all, regarding Russian attack on Kramatorsk, the work continued all the day at the site of the attack. Unfortunately, the death toll has increased. Russian missiles claimed the lives of 11 of our people, including 3 children. My condolences to the families. More than 60 people were injured and wounded. On June 28th, the Security Service of Ukraine, together with the police special forces, detained the person who coordinated this terrorist attack. They hit an ordinary cafe in Kramatorsk, a popular pizzeria. Neighboring houses, shops and a gas station were damaged. An ordinary city, an ordinary life. There may still be people under the rubble. Everyone who helps Russian terrorists destroy life deserves the maximum punishment. And this applies not only to some collaborators. Everything is clear about them. These are people without humanity. Anyone in the world who does not understand that one cannot be an accomplice of a terrorist state must be held accountable by the entire international community. The spotter is being charged with treason. The possible punishment is life imprisonment. Accomplices of a terrorist state must be treated as betrayers of humanity. We will continue our work to strengthen international sanctions against Russia and its accomplices. They must feel that the price of their terror will only increase for them. And we will continue our global legal work to ensure that international instruments work in one way or another to punish all Russian terrorists and the aggressor state itself. On June 28th, in my address to the Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, on the occasion of Constitution Day, I spoke in particular about justice. I spoke about internal justice, which is about accountability for violators of law in Ukraine, and about justice in relation to the Russian-Ukrainian war, about Russia's accountability for war crimes. The policy of justice will be one of the foundations of the Ukrainian doctrine, a fundamental document that will determine the course of our country for decades. We need such a document. Everyone in Ukraine, all our neighbors, everyone in the world should know what our nation goal is, what we consider to be the end of this war, and how we are going to live after this war. No matter what the occupiers try to do against us, and no matter what kind of terror they use, they will not be able to break Ukraine. They will not succeed in knocking us off the path that leads the occupiers to accountability for everything they have done against us and that leads us to our guaranteed security and lasting freedom. Ukraine and everyone in the world who stands with us in defense of freedom will also stand in defense of justice. Justice for all those whose lives were taken by Russian terror, whose fate was broken by the Russian war. Eternal memory to all our people, to all Ukrainian children who were killed by Russian savages. I would like to briefly report on the day the presidents of Lithuania and Poland, Gitanas, Nausėda and Andrzej Duda, paid a visit, a very timely and useful visit on the eve of Vilnius. The format of the talks was both joint and bilateral. Weapons for Ukraine. By the way, thank you, Gitanas, Mr. President, for the decision to purchase and transfer NASAMS systems to Ukraine, as it is very much needed. We discussed common political challenges in the entire region and between our countries. Of course, we also talked about the launch of negotiations on Ukraine's membership in the European Union, which we expect to happen this year. I met with Chief Master Sergeant of the 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade Magura, Valery Markus. We talked about the war, our warriors and our defense. We also discussed the reform of record-keeping in military structures, less paperwork and bureaucracy, more digitalization. We discussed the reform of the Sergeant Corps. It was a good conversation. Thank you for the chevrons. On June 28th, on the Constitution Day of Ukraine, I had the honor to award our warriors and hand over state awards to the families of our heroes. It was very emotional, very honorable. I am proud of our warriors. I am grateful for everything and for the saved life of Ukraine. Congratulations to everyone on Constitution Day, and most importantly, I wish us all, each and everyone in our country, to multiply freedom, glory and independence of Ukraine, and so it will be. I also congratulate all Muslims of Ukraine and the world on the beginning of Kurban Bayram. May we all achieve peace for our country, for our countries, for our children, a fair and just peace. I thank everyone who is fighting and working for Ukraine. I am grateful to each and everyone who is now in combat, at combat posts and in positions. Thank you, warriors, for your new advancement. Glory to Ukraine.